Hello everyone, how are we doing? It's been a little while since I uploaded. I've just been busy in London the last couple of days, but I just got back today, so I'm bringing you a game as, as I might as well do, because I'm here and I'm ready to do this, and I will probably be streaming a bit later. I'll probably be streaming by the time this video goes up, so I guess I'll leave a link in the description. If not, there'll be a streaming video up, and you can go look and see, and we can have fun. So, anyways, this game is against Tucanslam from my stream before I left for London, so relatively newish game by my standards, and yeah, using the Banded Hacktress, Banded Terrakion team as such. So I'm going to lead with Jellicent because looking at his team, I think that it is probably the best thing to go with. And he leads with Ambipom. I knew that he would probably lead with Ambipom, so Jellicent does a nice job of stopping that thing in its tracks. As he's all he can really do is U-turn out from me. I guess he could taunt me, but that's pretty much all he's going to do. So I'll go for the Acid Armor here as he brings in his Jellicent. And, I'm especially defensive enough to where I can take Shadow Balls from opposing Jellicents relatively well, fire off Ominous Winds and hopefully get a boost from them, but as you can see, he does get the special defense drop on that Shadow Ball, which is not tasty at all. I would not eat a sandwich if it had a special defense drop in it, let's just say that. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch out here, not wanting to take another one. I'm going to go into Jirachi, knowing that, I'm Calm Mind sub, and I have relatively decent special defense. It's Rachi with max HP, and it generally takes hits well. So I do take it, and judging by how much that does, that is less than a 101 sub, so I know I can safely set up a sub on this Jellicent, and he will not be able to break it with a Scald, which is fantastic. So I'm going to go for that as he switches into T-Tar. And, T-Tar is going to be a little bit of an issue here. I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking, if he's a Dragon Dance set, and I don't stop this thing soon, it probably will just ruin my entire life and my entire team. So I'll go for the Thunderbolt just to judge how much it does. It does nothing because this is friggin' T-Tar, man. It has special defense through the roof because that Sandstorm boost. And, I don't have much special attack investment. I am a timid Rachi, and I don't have any Calm Minds to my name at this current point in time. So all I'm really hoping here is that I get some power hacks, because if I don't get some power hacks soon, it's not going to be looking good for me. T-Tar is probably going to do a horrendous job on my team, but as luck would have it, Serene Grace is going to kick in for me, get that T-Tar, and nail it with the paralyzation, which is absolutely fantastic, because it now allows me to actually, maybe do something. Now, I'm going to go for the Calm Mind here. I'm not really sure why I did that. I guess I was perhaps banking on paralysis a little, but, thinking about it, he can easily break my sub with either the Fire Punch or the Earthquake, and follow up with a kill, because he's at +2, of course. So, I really, not the best idea to set up Calm Mind. Kind of wasted. I could have got a little bit more damage in with T-Bolt, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to switch out to Jellicent now, knowing that he's most likely going to go for that Fire Punch, wanting to kill off the Jirachi, and I am actually going to get the paralyzation on that turn, which is nice. It's good. It's helpful in multiple scenarios like this. So I guess at this point, I was expecting him to kill me with a crunch. So I'm just going to go for the Scald to do as much damage as I can before Jellicent dies. But as luck would have it again, I'm actually going to pull a crit out of the bag. So that T-Tar got really freaking hacked to death. And having set up 2 Dragon Dances, it actually didn't really get to do any damage with it whatsoever. So, here, in comes Victini. I'm thinking Fusion Bolt, because that's generally what Victinis do these days if they're Life Orb or Banded. And I see the, hits itself with Sandstorm. I don't see Life Orb Recoil, so I don't know whether it is Banded or Scarfed, or obviously it won't be Banded because it's T-Bolting. Specs or Scarf, that is. So I'm going to switch out to Jellicent just to test, because if he is an Expert Belt set, then he would have stayed in and gone for the Fire Blast or Mamoswine, but he does switch out as I switch Jellicent in, telling me that he is most likely choiced, so I'm thinking Scarf or Specs in that mindset. So, we had the double Mamoswine there, but we now have double Jellicent, which is kind of doing some mirror matching here, and Water Absorb is, is going to help him out there as I go for the Scald on his Mamo. He predicts it nicely, and really we are caught up back at where we're supposed to be. So we've got Jellicent on Jellicent action here, as previous in the match, and I'm going to switch back out to the same thing that I switched out to last time, which is Jirachi, which can easily take that Shadow Ball, and hopefully not going to spec D-Drop, because that would not be tasty in the least bit. So I'm going to take it nicely, and I am going to decide here to set up a substitute once again, because, crit permitting, or something else like that, I should be able to be safe behind one. So I'm actually not going to do that, because I just remembered that that would be a bad idea, apart from it wouldn't really, but I'm just going to go for the psychic. So well done me for just not even remembering what I do in this game. Just slap me across the face, why don't you? Me? Well, yeah, okay, that was me slapping myself. Well done. That doesn't really hurt, but probably. Anyway, enough of the stupidness. In comes Rotom. I know that it's going to go for the T-Bolt, so I can take that very nicely. Rotom, just a generally good switch into this Jirachi, resists the T-Bolt and of course the Fire Blast, so it's going to be very useful as a pivot switch this entire match, just to handle Jirachi, because it's going to be annoying around the rest of my guys. So gets the crit there, which is going to dent me a little bit. It's not too big of a deal, but I decided to go for the Overheat here. Not quite sure why. I guess I was predicting something else to come in as opposed to the Jellicent, but Jellicent ends up coming in. T-Bolt generally had better coverage on his team, if I recall, so it doesn't really make too much sense to me why I went for the Overheat there, but it takes a decent-ish chunk out Jellicent, and at this point I'm thinking, he's probably not going to go for the Scald. He's thinking, I'm a defensive Rotom, so he's probably want to go throwing some status around. I want to throw some status around on my own, just slow that Jellicent down. I mean, paralysis isn't the best status on a Jellicent, but it is useful, because, I mean, its speed's not that bad. I don't think, anyway. I don't even know, because now I'm yawning. And, yeah, so essentially, he is going to be parallelized, I am going to be possessed, and we are both having a bit of status back and forth, like whipping our statuses back and forth here. So, I'm going to switch out into Jellicent, because I want my Jellicent to take the Scald from his Jellicent. He sees that coming and goes into his Mamoswine, and I'm like, well, this is terrible. I have no safe switch in for Mamoswine, apart from Rotom, but he's probably going to predict me to go to Rotom and therefore go for the Stone Edge, but he will probably kill me with an Earthquake, so I thought, he might go for the Earthquake or the Stone Edge. Either one, I'm not too safe, in my opinion, of living. So I kind of click a random move, and it ends up being Ominous Wind. I don't get the boost, and unfortunately, it doesn't do as much as a Scald would have done. So that is kind of annoying. I should have just gone with the Scald. But I guess that's what happens with Mamoswine and it doing Stone Edge and me not being clever. So he kills me, which is bad. It's really bad. So I'm going to Terrakion, and I'm like, you know what, Terrakion, you can do some work here, you can murder some children, and you can go for the Stone Edge. I go for the Stone Edge on this thing, and I go for it again, and that is 2 misses in a row. I missed Stone Edge twice, and he burns Terrakion, and I'm like, well, fuck, this is banded Terrakion, man. This thing is like the most pivotal, essential thing on the entire team, and it's now burned. I'm like, well, shit, I better get some hacks right back in my favour. I'm like, hacks gods, you owe me one. You owe me one for that bullshit. And they're like, yeah, Zed, we do owe you one. Here's a crit. I'm like, thank you for actually doing something that I wanted you to do for once in your life. So, in comes Ambipom, goes for the fake out, obviously not going to do too much, just going to chip away at my HP a little bit more, give him a little bit more life orb recourse, and I'm not really complaining, to be honest, because, he's wearing himself down in that sense. But I'm going to go for the Stone Edge here, hopefully do a little bit more. Of course I'm burned, but, the hacks gods are like, 1 crit is enough for today, let's just not let you, hit anymore. You're not allowed to hit anymore, so you can miss. Great, thanks hacks gods, great, I'm really good friends with you now, definitely not. Anyway, I'm going to go into Rachi, hoping I can set up a sub safely on this thing, seeing as I haven't seen Taunt yet, and he hasn't used it on my Jellicent. Like, I thought he would use Taunt on my Jellicent at the start of the game, but he didn't do it, so I was thinking he wouldn't be carrying it. Unfortunately, he does, which foils my plan of setting up a sub. Fortunately, though, he really doesn't have too much as a safe switch into Jirachi. He has Mamoswine and he has Jellicent. And I'm thinking to myself, I could go for the T-Bolt predicting Jellicent to switch in, but that is rather obvious. So I'm going to go for the Psychic because it'll hit either Mamoswine or Jellicent, and it'll just put me in a generally decent position. So I hit the Mamoswine as it comes in. Thankfully, of course, did not go for the T-Bolt, which, that helps me a great deal. So in comes Victini. That was the other thing that was kind of on my mind, the Psychic T-Bolt scenario, whether Victini would come in or Mamoswine, and I got the prediction correct, so it was pretty good, I guess. So I'm going to Rotom, and he pulls V-Create out the bag. I'm thinking, okay, that's Mix. I didn't really expect him to carry V-Create, but he's carrying T-Bolt and V-Create, so Mix Victini, Mixtini, slightly different variation than mine. I'm guessing Scarf Mix, because Specs Mix wouldn't make sense with V-Create, so I am guessing it is Scarfed, which is why I'm going to, hopefully stay in here, die to a couple couple of them, and at this point his speed will be low enough to where one of my guys can outspeed him, because a Scarf Victini is not something that I want to be running around or have running around for the rest of the game. So Rotom is going to die. Didn't really do too much in the match. Its purpose in general is as a pivot switch, and it does a good job of absorbing attacks from lots of things that threaten the team in general. So I mean, it generally always does its job nicely, and it's good. In many senses of the word good. So in comes Jirachi. I'm going to finish him off with a T-Bolt. Just take that thing right out. I'm kind of not sure why he stayed in. I guess he had nothing to switch to, because his Ambipom would die from a T-Bolt, his Jellicent would die from 2 T-Bolts, so really not much he could do. Just had to leave it to die. But, you know, I guess Victini could have been much useful for him, much more useful than this Ambipom anyway. So he fakes me out, not really something I'm worried about. I don't want him taunting me, so I'm not going to be going for Calm Minds or subs at this point in the game. Just want to throw Thunderbolts out there, because I know that he'll probably U-turn into Jellicent, and as long as he does do that, it's an easy 2-hit KO. If not a 2-hit KO, then a 3-hit KO from this range. I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, you know, after lefties, it probably is, but then I remember Sandstorm, and I'm thinking, you know what, with Sandstorm, I may well just be able to, you know, pick this guy off. We'll see, just dependent on stuff. So I go for the T-Bolt. Here's the Jellicent going down, and he lives with a smidly diddly edge, and unfortunately going to get the Scald off on me. Thankfully no burn, but at this point the game is particularly in my favour, because he has Ambipom with a Life Orb, and there is also Sandstorm to hurt him as well. So even if he does kill me with this Fake Out, which he gets a crit on, he's going to die from his own Life Orb and Sandstorm recoil damage. So that is going to be the game. Didn't have to use Haxorus there, but I did still have banded Haxorus in the wings, did I have to use him, and that is pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I should hopefully be returning to a relatively more normal uploading schedule now that I'm back, so look forward to that. If you liked the video, you can leave me a big thumbs up. That is helpful as always. You can check out my social links at the Twitter, respectively. That was said relatively quickly because I am quick, and that is going to be it for today. So I'll see you guys soon, and yeah, goodbye.